Welcome to the Eskimo experience. Battery level 120%, firing mode, Frosty.
Dr. Jones, brother Timmy, checking in for the Eskicouch. How are you, brother Timmy?
Good, man. It's been a long time since we've had a chance to do one of these.
Mate, it has been a while. It has been a hot while since we've done one of these. So we have had a break. We've enjoyed the break and just doing life and family things, which has been good. But we are back, season 2022, our second season, episode 41. We've put a few in the board.
Yeah, we did not too bad last year. Hopefully everyone kind of enjoyed them. We found our feet with them. Obviously brought a few extra boys online with us, and kick off 22 back where we started with just yourself and myself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this is where it started. We've gone back to basics. Kaiser's up in Queensland, getting the Queensland NXL happening. Connor's tied up with some work things tonight, so
the fact it's also midnight for him as well.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up, So, midnight on a Friday night. What do you want to do, Connor? Do you want to come do the podcast, or are you going to have a sleep, mate? So, but yeah, it is late over there, and we do appreciate that he does get in and jump in with us, which is pretty cool. I was going to throw things back to one of our earlier episodes. We did start doing the Who's That Eskimos last year. And I did want to rerun one, and it's kind of fitting. The guy is watching the show. So I thought it might be a good point just to get this one going now. So we are going to go back to one of our earlier Who's That Eskimo. We will do a few more of these this year now that we can actually get out and do some stuff this year. Well, it's looking like it. We can on the East Coast anyway. You're stuck on the island at the moment.
We're on the island, but we can do stuff within the island as long as you've been jabbed. And the fourth one will be happening in the next month or so. But
but
about the third one tomorrow, so I'll let you know how that goes.
I got mine last week, and apart from being a little bit tired the next day, it was not too bad for us, so we were okay. But obviously we got the baby in the house, so we've got to do the right thing, keep things safe. So all right, so we will go back. We'll throw this Who's That Eskimo up, so we'll get this one happening. Just to throw things back to when we first started kicking it off.
Who's that Eskimo? G'day there, it's the Ducky here. How are we?
Or Paul as his mother calls him. But he plays with rubber ducky on his back, and he plays with a rubber ducky in his hand. You haven't made one into a barrel sock yet. I'm a bit upset about that.
I'm trying to.
All you got to do is just jam it in the arse, man.
No, I'm trying to get a proper one made up, custom made rubber ducky barrel sock.
Talk to Lachlan Alcott, because he's got one that was, I don't even know what it is anymore. Some little doll that sits on there. Yeah. So anyway, what division do you play, brother?
I play amateur division.
AMS. You had a big hiatus, and now you're just back. Last year you came back, didn't you?
Yeah.
For one round.
For one round due to COVID.
It's your fault. That's why we couldn't play. So playing AMS at the moment. Favourite opposition?
Favourite opposition?
Either player or team.
Wicked Assassins, Wicked Assassins guarantee a good laugh.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I love playing against those guys. A lot of people sleep on them. They underestimate Wade and Billy, and you can't do that. Even Alex was on fire this weekend. He was playing great paintball. So
that was when I freaking bunkered Bill and Wade.
Yeah.
But
then you're done.
I got him.
So what position do you normally play?
Dorito side.
Dorito side, and you play in AMS. And what gun do you shoot, man?
I shoot a DM14
at the moment. I like that. He's going to upgrade. All good. All right. Well, thanks for having a chat to us, brother. And we'll talk to you soon. Well done for the games you played. So Paul did his back. So he's a little bit tender. All right. So that was a Who's That Eskimo from...
Was that not number like 2 or 3 of those we did? Or that you did, but we released?
Like we did, I think I got 4 or 5 of them sitting there. So, but yeah, I enjoyed that one. I like Paul. I played with Paul at the Yarra 10 Man, so I thought that'd be a good one to to kick off this year.
And so, Paul, we know we can see you watching. This new platform means we can actually see the comments. So I want to know, can you chuck up there? Have you made the barrel sock yet? As Jonesy said, just literally shove it up.
Yeah, just
pretty easy.
Stick it on there, man. Yeah, not hard. Just like that. I will confirm though, Paul did upgrade. He doesn't shoot the DM anymore. He does have an LV 1.6. So can confirm, did upgrade his gun. Got it from the wonderful guys at paintballshop.com. So yeah,
cool.
So all right, we will. Broderick did make the comment that it's 8 weeks to go. So 8 weeks out from round one of Super Sevens. I was talking to Mike this week, and barring weather, barring issues from things like that, there will be AstroTurf down.
Sweet, that's awesome.
So, and the other side of the AstroTurf is he will be putting lights on the field as well.
Cool.
So, yeah, in the lead up to the event, obviously Pro being the third weekend now, he's gone back to that format of AMS, semi-pro, and then Pro. So there will be lights up. So there will be the possibility for some evening training sessions for the pro teams or the semi-pro teams.
That's cool. We used to have that opportunity over here in WA with the old WASP facility in Canningbah. So we used to do Wednesday nights, and yeah, it's awesome. It's great to be able to just like roll out of work, go down, have a little shoot if you want to, like just chinwag if you're doing that, which 99% of people end up doing, and then go home. It was cool just to have the opportunity to do it. It's great that Mike and the boys are going to be doing that sort of thing as well. Yeah. The other good thing about getting that Astro down and moving to the pros to the last weekend, it means everyone's going to be on a great surface no matter what. It's not going to get run into the ground prior to the pro weekend. So everyone's running routes and all that sort of stuff going on.
Yeah, and that was when I saw the dates drop, I thought, oh, really? And then I was talking to Mike, and he's, no, we're going to have the turf down, and it's all going to be sweet. I'm like, oh, well, that's perfect, man. That doesn't matter.
That's cool.
But, if you get a little bit of rain on any field, as we know, it just churns it up. So it'll be pretty cool that we'll have a good surface. Now, Paul did come back. He has everything for his barrel sock.
He hasn't put it together yet. Like you said, just tie a rope around its neck and then
just put a noose on the neck and you'll be right.
Just choke it. Just shove it in there and choke it.
Yeah. Instead of choking the chicken, you'll be choking the duck. So, so that exciting times for action paintball Yarramundi, barring weather, and it has been pretty wet over this side of Australia. I jokingly said that we had the baby in October. I jokingly said he didn't see the sun for the first 8 weeks of his life. And I wasn't far off. It just rained and was overcast and shit. So, yeah,
it's bizarre. Like we've had obviously summer, shockingly being summer, but it's been hot as hell here. But yeah, with all that rain, especially through South Australia, it's caused all the flooding of the rail lines. So our shops are looking pretty dismal at the moment because that's our main artery for groceries to get east to west and be converted.
The biggest thing, any trucks, like I was reading about this today in Big Rigs Mag, because diesel, I've got to keep up with that sort of stuff. Yeah,
I was going to say this is your stuff.
Yeah, so the trucks they're not taking any deliveries because as soon as they go in with the delivery, they've got to isolate there for 2 weeks. So
they're doing changeovers at the border supposedly, and they're running triples. Yeah, so for those that aren't running with trucks, that means road trains are 3 trailers long.
Yep.
So normally they're doubles, so 2 trailers. They're giving them the green light for triples at the moment, which is
except for peak times, but like between 6 and 9 and 4 and 6 or whatever it is. But yeah, that's pretty cool too. And the land bridge, so they put it on a train, go to as far as they can with the water, chuck it on a truck, drive it the rest of the way, then chuck it back on the train.
Back on the train, yeah.
Pretty full on.
No,
so
it's
COVID and the flood is making life difficult for WA.
It makes it interesting. That's that being our word. No, realistically, I don't know what you guys hear over there, but yeah, obviously we've gone through. Supposedly tomorrow we were originally going to be opening up the borders back to actually Australia. That kind of went on the back burner because the whole Omicron Persei 8 stuff. So yeah, I don't know when we're opening up properly, but we've now got mandates on basically everything bar going on Coles and Woolies. So if you go to Aldi, fill your shopping cart up, and then pick up you're all good to do that. But as soon as you pick up like a cask of wine or something, you got to show your vaccine and all that proof. Yep. So that's having some impact around this place. It actually is having some impact on paintball as well, because one of the mandates is for entertainment and amusement venues. So it means everyone showing up to play paintball in WA, whether you be a punter, whether you be a normal player, anything, you have to be double jabbed.
Yeah.
That's I know it's had an impact, not huge, but it's had some impact on some of the groups that I know, at least for Brad, but Wasp has had to run. Obviously, it's going to have an impact on our playing base in terms of the tournaments. We haven't announced dates yet for over here. I've got a tentative first round. So for those watching, March 20, we're looking to kick off. I've got to sit down with Bradley and suss out the rest of them. But that way we know that Justin's back for Menace, and it gives us enough lead time for hopefully the rest of the teams to get their stuff in order. But then, we don't know what impact it's going to have with those that have decided not to go get the jibby jab. So it's going to have a flow-on effect for this season for us. I think everyone would have seen from the teams announced SDK is not coming to the sevens. We just can't at the moment. We can't afford it to going. Fine. The fact it's down a 2-day event is dope. Like, as much as I love a 3-day event for within Australia, like if I'm only going to Sydney or something, 2 days is perfect. I love it. But unfortunately for us, like
you guys, like fly in Friday, fly out Sunday, like
it's less time off work. It's the in and out sort of deal. It really helps us out. But we've got the whole thing of we've got a quarantine at the moment, and none of us can really afford to be off. Like Ram runs his own business, Stevie's taking over and going to be running a business by mid-year. The rest of us are all busy with actual normal life and work. So it's that will stop us, and it will impact our travel. Hopefully by later in the year, things have sort of settled down. We've ripped the Band-Aid off, and we can look into whether it be sevens, Singapore. I must admit, I'd absolutely love to go back and play in Asia. I miss playing in Singapore and that, and seeing all those guys. I miss seeing you guys in person as well. So we'll see what happens.
One of each, mate. One of each. Come play Masters.
Possible. Yeah, possible. Possible. Yeah. You guys need a spot with the Eskimos. Like, I know I'm going to jump in and carry pods for someone.
Perfect. We will touch on the Queensland event. Now, they've just put up some pictures of the
interesting
layout.
Pictures.
Yeah, so I'll whack these up. So this down, obviously, Dorito's side. Nice straight line, which is good. Good for those corner players to keep on the gun. And it's, it is just pictures, so it is a bit hard, but,
There is one really good above view, so you get a good rough idea of the layout. It's I use the word interesting. It's not bad. It's like, but it's different.
It looks good. Yeah,
and different is not a bad thing. Like, it would be a cool weekend to watch what the play goes on. Like, you look at that God bunker with that angle going into it.
Yeah.
If it's true that Pete Adams designed this, you can kind of see a snake route kind of design there by a snake player.
Yeah, 100%. And even like going into the Doritos, like up into that, the wing bunker in the Doritos, same thing. That nice big protective little wall to keep you safe on your slide, which is cool. I like the angle of those the wing bunkers on the 50 on the snake side too. I like how they're just pointing in that little bit. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
It's going to give a different dimension of play. So it looks like it'd be a fun field to play.
Yeah, 100%.
I say interesting only from the point of view of it's just not conventional. Things are conventionally where they would be, but it's cool to see a twist on, like literally a twist on things.
And it is, and the twist on things is good. And Pete Adams, I don't think he's ever done a conventional layout that I've seen.
He's not a conventional guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then, we had to throw the picture of Wertho in there. So
yeah, he's done cool things.
Mate. Yeah, it is good that, there's, the concept of the series, playing at different fields, I think is great.
Trying a different format. Like, I must admit, like I'm really keen to hear how this weekend goes.
Yeah.
On paper, I love the idea of saving money for the players. Not massively a fan of, like, you've literally got this for the entire match rather than each game.
Yeah.
But it's got to be tried.
Yeah.
Like, and more credit to them for actually trying something different. Like, I can't say I'm going to be the one to go out and do that. In terms of, like, trialing it at a series, like, I'd happily trial it and put some practice games and stuff. But
it's a bit rough.
Yeah, I'm really keen to hear the feedback, especially from the really experienced guys, and how they find it impacts them. Because I think the newer players will be easily adaptable to that sort of concept of, they might go through and run out a few times and go, oh shit, and then readjust. The more experienced guys that have, even if they've played limited formats like M500, M800, like the actual M800 in terms of 4 pods per point rather than an overall match, they'll have a heavier adjustment sort of thing. So like I said, I'm keen to hear how it turns out. Like, I really hope it goes really well and everyone enjoys it. Like, I have no doubt everyone playing will enjoy it. But how it stands up as a format, keen to hear the feedback. Yeah,
and that's the big thing is, well, from a field perspective, how those guys going to feel about it, because it's a lot of work going in and that sort of stuff. And obviously, fields make their money on paint. So it'd be interesting to see that point of view.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Entry included all of your paint, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a cool concept, because I remember Jilly calling me about that, 5 years ago for Snipers Den, for their series.
Yep.
And she was floating this idea of, like, you had a flat fee, but they didn't limit your overall paint. They just kind of projected what each team would shoot, and they sort of go, right, so it's going to make our entries X dollars. Yep. That concept is very cool. Like, and if you can make that viable as a field, it means you've got a fixed budget. The only problem comes down to it is your layout and how teams decide to then play that layout. If they decide to go a bit paint hungry on it,
I think
it's probably one of those things where there's probably a little bit of wiggle room. Like, you could have a set entry, and then go right. So this covers you for X number of boxes, like we've projected, and show you maths. So it's open and clear, and you go, oh look, we've projected teams should shoot about this much in prelims, and we're going to do this many finals. So it'll also include X number of boxes as well for proviso for finals if you make it. But if you shoot over, so let's pull 20 out of our butt for it. Oh, there you go. Dwayne said they did it as a M500, 14 boxes and 2 plus you made the finals. See, that's cool. But if I think if you've got a team that just blows through that, then cool. Charge them the 80 or whatever your retail price.
Tack on to it, like that. Oh, we're out. We need some more, and I think that's pretty fair too. But that means the field's not getting pantsed. The fixed budget idea is cool, like for both teams and from an event standpoint. Like, I know, like, you've run them, Dwayne. I know you're watching. You've run them. Like, if you know what your budget is going into something, it makes life so much easier. 100%. It still comes down to teams signing up and sort of saying that they're going to be there,
and if they're going to be there.
It is going to be cool to see. So it'll be interesting to get Kaiser's feedback next week. He will be back on the show next week, and it'll be good to just get him to tell us how good it was, because I'm sure that's all he's going to say. But it will be good to get some feedback. So it'll be pretty cool. So that's it. It is exciting. It is good they're doing something new. If they keep doing the same thing over and over and you wonder why you get the same result, then you've got no one else to blame but yourself. So it is pretty cool that they're doing something different. So speaking of different, let's talk about this guy going to a different team.
Him and half his previous teams going to
So let's just say him and his team changing jerseys. Let's just call it that then. So,
yeah, I was going to say the Revo boys that just signed on to fill the holes would be going, oh, what the hell?
Can we go back? Can we go back, guys? So,
I don't know if they'd bail on. This was a discussion point for us in the SDK chat. It has been the whole time anyway, just as an interest point. And I know it has been for most teams. It's cool to see some money getting thrown around.
Yep.
What impact it has in the long run, wait and see. But I think for impact, we'll go back to that. Even with the loss of these guys, it's going to hurt, but
they still got solid
if they
players.
can get some of their normal, if they can get their other guys in, they're still a really damn good team.
100%.
I don't think it's going to drop them too far.
The difference for them is they won't be running two lines. They'll be moving players instead of next line in. And that's the difference. And they had two solid lines that they could just go this line, this line, and you know what's going to happen. Yeah. So they do lose a lot of players. I think they're still, on paper they're still got a solid team. Let's talk the ruler and super. Like they were playing, and those guys were making Sunday. They were going, not deep in Sunday, but they were getting there. And they
were on the cusp. They were on the cusp. Like out of all of these seasonal moves, the team I feel for the most has been Revo.
Yeah.
I suppose I could say the Ironmen, but the Ironmen are doing whatever they're doing. They'll suss that out. But Revo are the ones that have been knocking on the door for so long. And it kind of looked like things were kind of, sure, they still had to run the gauntlet of the impacts, the dynasties, the heats, and all that sort of stuff. Everyone has to, but you look at impact, you look at X Factor, all those guys have all solidified their lineups, become really non-reliant on a single player. I think Revo was also right there. So they'll take a punch with this. So how they come out of it will be cool to see. Same with Impact as well, because obviously they're the latest, because the last three signings have been all ex-Impact players. But then they still have both Cornells. They still have Nick Laval.
You got the Yakimek boys.
If Bart's boys can come back in, like that, that'll be a huge ends. They got the Revo boys that have just joined in. That's still a hell of a lineup.
100%. So, I think, with the Revo boys coming in, is going to be an easier gel for them than, the whole squad of the Latin Saints. Like they've got, 4 that have played together, and the rest are,
Yeah, they've got to find their feet, and both, not just them, but Shorty's got to find his feet as a coach. I know we spoke about this before we came on air, but if anyone hasn't watched them yet or listened to them, they are on Spotify. HK's new podcast, Marky's podcast, The Full Experience, worth a listen. It's not Marky dialed up to Marky. It's dialed back a bit, which is great. And he's had some really cool conversations. They're short and sharp, which is fantastic. They're only like 20 minutes, half hour. I think the Tyler one was the longest than the first one. There's a few hints in there that Marky had a bit of a finger in the pie there of getting Tyler to heat. But there's been some really cool conversations with Mouse after signing and that huge deal, with Shorty himself and how that came to be. And then yesterday they dropped an episode with Diego Santos, the owner of the Latin Saints. He spoke about where the team came from, who the guys were. One of the interesting things he had to say was that they had a bunch of Latin guys, which I think were the original ones that were named, but a lot of them apparently bailed on him and went back to their current teams because I don't know whether they thought it wasn't going to happen or what the go was, not sure. But apparently the whole Saints deal was ready to rock and roll from round 1 of the NXL last year. It was reliant on Trey Gunn not getting relegated, but it sounded like Jeremy Salmon was ready to get out at the end of last season, no matter what. That was an interesting listen. The guy speaks about where his money comes from, speaks about where the name comes from. Santos is Spanish for saint, so that's where the Saints come from. And then, they make no bones about the fact that dude's got some cash and he's not afraid to get in it and be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's evident he's not afraid to get into it, is he? You know,
No, and I think it helps when
cash around.
Well, they've said it's been A-Rod and it's been obviously Short himself doing a lot of the speaking to the American pros. And when you've got Short's pedigree as a player, and a lot of these guys have been ex-teammates.
Yeah.
With the exception of Silos. Yeah. Yeah, as Dwayne's just said, he seems like a legit dude. Yeah, and he says he's going to stick with it. So yeah, I'm with you, Dwayne. I hope he does stick with it.
I think it'd be shit if he didn't, and you know, for all these guys to jump ship and then, you know, don't stick with it for the long haul. I think that'd be pretty shit. So
yeah,
I think he's obviously committing.
I have less, like, again, chat within my team. I know some of the guys are less keen on people going somewhere for money, but for these guys, if they've got this opportunity, their playing careers in this are not long, and opportunities to get ownership like Marcelo and Blake did with Dynasty are rare, if not non-existent. So if they've got an opportunity to go and make a legit big amount of money and consistently, yeah, sweet, go for it. As far as I'm concerned. I know obviously the Impact Boys were getting a salary, but I don't know what those dollars are. Know for a fact there's been offers that have gone to other players, most notably Marcelo was one of them. Tyler was one of them. Supposedly Dalton. They, at least on Blake and Marcelo's side, have knocked them back, and they potentially were the biggest deals in paintball history, along with Mouse. But then you've got to assume that the Russians were spoken to as well. But yeah, it's kind of cool though to see that despite the amount of money going around, that some of these guys have still decided to stick with who they're with. And that temptation must be crazy to try and sort of debate that. I get with Marcelo, cool. You've got a part of the ownership of Dynasty. How much of a part? No. But either way, like I think he would be more likely to stick. But the fact that Tyler's just jumped ship, I'm sure he's gelled in with that team really well, because that's the one thing I think Heat's done well for a super team is they
have family.
The way they work together.
Yeah,
no, it is. I think it comes back from Randy being a manager, and again, Marky's podcast is one we did with Yaya, and Yaya talks about what he does behind the scenes for Heat, and that's where they're talking about the guys and how they gel in that respect. So I wonder if that's something they do better than the other couple of super teams.
Yeah, look,
like the fact that
Dwayne makes a valid point. Get paid, you know, like that. You know, they do it because they love the game, but at the end of the day, they're doing it because, you know, they can and they can make money doing it. You know, like we before the Simpson boys and Johnny Robber and J-Reg come over to us, Gaddy we'd line Gaddy up to play pro, and he said, you know, and those boys were trying to get a pro spot, but the pro division up here was locked down tighter than a duck's arsehole at the time. And Gaddy said to us, the Simpson boys, they want me to come and play with them. And I said, man, and he said, all right, like, what do you think? I said, man, in all fairness, if the Simpson boys offered me a spot on their squad, I'd say, fuck it. Fuck the Eskimos, I'm going. And Jamie was there at the same time, like Gaddy pulled us aside to have this conversation. And Jamie was like, yeah, I'm exactly the same, mate. Fuck the Eskimos, I'm gone. You know, so it's, you know, get paid, so forth. And in Australia, we don't get paid, and loyalty is pretty slim and far between people.
It depends on where you're from.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
I think Australia, we're a different thing, but I think Jamie brought it up today about people will change for a free shirt, and it's true. Yeah. And sometimes the grass is always greener, but you'll then get your guys that find their home, and that's them.
100%, and they just stay. So but look, I agree. If you can get paid and you can get, you know, 100 grand, 50 grand to play paintball, it'd be rude not to take it, in my opinion. So Spicker, and just talking about that, Spicker made the point, like on their podcast, you know, that he had an offer made, but it was, 10 grand more than what he was getting at the moment. And it wasn't, the difference in money wasn't worth jumping ship, like for what the relationships were and so forth. And he was happy where he was.
Then if then the counter that comes in, someone just goes, oh, so 10 grand wasn't enough. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've had these other guys reject these offers, and we were going to pay him this much.
They had old mate from Iconic. They had old mate from Iconic there, and he was he was on the phone to Diego at the same time, like sending messages to him and so forth. And his speaker said, "This goes, well, what's the number? What number would it take?"
Yeah,
they didn't say the number at the time, but there's obviously a conversation's continued from there. Well, this is the number, and he's got no worries. Here it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of other moves, and I really dig this move.
This is
going back to damage. This is a good story, I think. Had a run with the Russians while they couldn't get their squad over here. And gone back to damage with a smile on his face, and those boys are happy to have him back. So that's pretty cool. I really dig that he's gone back there.
Yeah, no, that was one of the cool moves I've seen throughout. Same with Brusselback going infamous. I thought that was a cool one. Like, he obviously aftermath originally with the story of the off season, like they made some really solid pickups, but.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And like they had the loss of Brandon Unger, who's concentrating on work, and that's a pretty big thing.
He's Mike's boy. When he gets that settled, he'll have a spot back.
100%.
He'll have to earn it back, but he'll have a spot back.
Yeah, but and it's good that he's focusing on that. I think that's an important thing. That there's life after paintball. Not everyone's going to get the 100K deal, but it's good he's focusing on that, and he will be back. But yeah. They had that loss, and then they had that loss, and then they've had a couple others, come on, which is good. So they're looking pretty strong too. I think they'll be definite Sunday team consistently.
It's kind of shaping up. I mean, I don't want to make any predictions before a first event, but it's kind of shaping up.
Just do it. Live by the sword.
No, the top of the league is going to. I think the distance between the top of the league and the bottom of the league is going to get bigger. The way that these moves have been made, like if damage continue on the same path that they've been on in terms of improvement, losing Brad McCurley is going to be the biggest kick in the balls. But Brad's he's retired. Like it's not like he jumped ship or anything like that. It's just more I'm talking from a talent loss. But then Mike Waring to go away, do what he's done, and to become as good a player as he's become, to come back in, that'll help fill that gap really well. I still see them as kind of middle of the pack at this stage, and they'll probably go and prove me wrong, which I'd love to see. But Dynasty still looking strong. Heat still looking strong. Obviously, you now got the Saints. Aftermath, quite frankly, I think are going to be up there. Infamous will definitely be back up there. X Factor will be. Even with the loss to Archie, I don't think that's going to hurt them too much. I think your top 10 to 12 teams are going to be a lot stronger than the bottom 8.
Yeah, I agree there. Like that's, and it will be a big gap. Just on the X Factor, I think with Archie going, I think it's going to give the other guys a little bit more freedom. I think that'll open it up. Like they've still got a solid team.
Look, they had to deal without Archie with injury and all the rest anyway. So I think, by all accounts, he was either going to be retiring or he was moving. So I think they'd be happier to see him move, as much as it's going to suck playing against him. They would be happier to see him move and still be involved in playing than not.
Yeah.
I don't think it changes anything from a friendship point of view. I think when Archie originally went to Dynasty, I don't think he was his best player. So it'd be cool to see what he can do with Dynasty now. But then they've still got to figure out their new dynamic with him in.
Oh yeah, they got to figure out how he fits in. So, but he will. They'll figure it out. I wish Kaiser was here to chime in on this. Come on, Kaiser. So, we do have to talk about this one. We did touch about it, but J-Rab going and that would have been a big number.
You would have to. The dude is both not underrated but underrated at times. I think he gets forgotten because he had to go off and do his schooling with the paramedics.
Yep.
And he's just been so consistent with impact for so long that, you just think, oh, yeah, he's part of the furniture there.
You expect it too. You expect him to bring out what he brings out. Like he doesn't, for him playing, it's nothing special because he does special so often. So, does that make sense?
The big thing with the Saints is I think for the guys that have signed and have taken a check, and I don't care what your motivation is, whatever, that's going to light a fire under them going, well, I've now got this much coming in for doing this. I now need to, not that they weren't already putting effort in, but that they're, Mouse said on the HK podcast, he has to play the best he's ever played.
Yeah,
so there's a genuine fire lit under them, and I'm sure they had a fire under them already playing for a professional organization, especially one as professional as Impact. But I reckon all these guys, J-Rab, Mouse, Spicker, A-Rod, all those boys that come from Impact that were already getting a salary. The biggest salary will help them in their life, but I think more so this is now proving they can go somewhere else and do it again. So the drive that they'll have is huge, but then I think this will have a twofold thing of the rest of the league, especially the top teams, will go, oh yeah, cool, new money, sweet, let's go just shove it back down your throat. So I think that'll help the whole league. Everyone will have a fire under them about this, whether they're getting paid or getting fired up over these guys getting paid or something stupid. Doesn't matter what the motivation is. I think it's still going to have an overall positive impact on the league.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Other than widening that gap.
Yeah, take the all the shit talk out of it and all the comments from people about it. I should have done it. Blah blah blah, and it's going to be good for everyone. Because now, well, think of the smack talk now when he's getting walked off the field. That the $100,000 players just got walked off the field with paintballs all up his back. Like it's going to be good to see. So, and can you imagine the MYX boys if they shoot him for in a game at all, mate? Oh, the chirping that had happened. You're worth $100,000. I must be worth 110. So that's guaranteed. That's a matter of time before that sort of gets said. Yeah, it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. They need more microphones on the field. All right. So, by any chance the guys from Go Sports are watching this, you need more microphones on the field. So.
Yeah, might do the all mic'd up on a few players. Just give them a heads up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that whole stream will just be if they want to keep it clean.
Yeah. It's not on commercial TV. They don't have to edit it, do they?
They can get away with it. Trash talk is welcome in all colourful language. In this country, it's just French.
That's it. That's it. Very good. All right. Did you have anything else you want to add, Timmy?
No, there's should hopefully have some more news about WA in the next couple of weeks. For those over here that haven't got back into training yet, I know we're moving to 2 weekly training just to help Brad out with the field. And on the AstroTurf that was going to be laid over Christmas hasn't happened yet because there's been a few developments at the field. Namely, the land is up for sale. So where Brad wanted to give it a little bit of time just to see what was going on. Like if someone jumped on it and then sort of went, no, I don't want paintball here.
Yeah.
There's no point going and laying AstroTurf to have to rip it up to move it somewhere else. So hopefully we'll have some news on that very soon. I'll have updates for everyone as to when we're getting that down because I want that down yesterday. We had it all lined up, ready to go, but that kind of stalled things for obvious reasons. So don't worry, Ben. I'm wearing goggles all the time now. I'm a good boy. We'll I'll have some news on that hopefully soon. But we'll have WA dates coming out. As I say, March 20 is looking like the first round will be for us. Yeah,
cool. Exciting stuff. And so paintball's back, baby. We had the first event down in Wagga, the Wagga 3-man success. Yarra 10-man was a success. Rush 3-man success. NXL Queensland kicking off at Harvey Bay tomorrow. I'm sure it will be a success. Paintball's back. Dust off your gear, guys. Clean the rust out of your gun. and get out to a paintball field and play some paintball. We thought we'd only be about 20 minutes tonight, Timmy.
Yeah, it was always going to go over
that with our normal shit talk, haven't we? So
surprise, surprise.
Yeah, exactly. To the people that tuning in and watched us live, thank you. Much love for watching. If you're watching the replay, much love to you guys for taking the time to listen. I will upload this onto Spotify, so if you want to listen to it in the car, you can. Probably should have said that at the start, not the end. Now you've got to listen to it twice. Shout out to PB Athlete, young Connor. We appreciate your support. We missed you tonight, buddy. Look after yourself. We'll talk soon. Paintballshop.com, Gladiator, best tanks in the game. If you haven't got one, get one. Paintball Addiction. And if you like the show and you want to help us out, jump on all the W's, buymeacoffee.com/Eskicouch. And yeah, thanks again, guys. We appreciate it. And we're done. I didn't G up the little outro noise that we normally had. I did the intro, but I didn't do the outro. I have to remember to do that for next week. All right, so we're going to do it this way. You ready? 3, 2, 1. See you guys
later.
It's your turn, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's later.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, done.